The last piece of the standard parts here, at least, excluding the box and the cams, is your roller. Okay, so the way we're going to kind of do this one's a little different. So you have your standard roller here, which, as you may have seen from this original example, right, we got this here. And what we found was the cams could pretty easily slide off from the roller, so redesigned a little bit to add a little bit of a track. As you can see here, these cams are actually a little bit thicker, but the cams we're going to use are a little bit thinner, which is why even more so having a little track really helps it stay in line as you are turning your automata. Okay, so here's how we're going to do it. We'll start off with the standard, just so if you're kind of doing this from scratch, you want to keep it that way, and then I'll add the addition and show you how we'll do that. Okay, so pretty simple approach. We've got the general shape on this side. We're going to extrude, add the square hole on top, and then go from there. All right, so first off, insert new part studio. I'm going to go ahead and rename that now 06. And it's the roller. And we'll sketch. I'm going to choose the front plane personally. Go hit N for normal. And let's start sketching that shape. Okay, so personally, I'm going to do it like this. With the line coming down, there's a slight line dropping down here before it creates that semicircle. And then also, just to make my life a little easier, I'm just going to mirror these two across. Oops, that was not right. One more time. Select the mirror line, so that's going to be this line in the middle. Entities are going to be these two, so that I have it equal on both sides. Definitely more than one way you could do that, but that's my approach. And then 3-point arc. I'm going to pull this down. You notice this dot. I'm going to line that up with the 3 dots there. That way they are all along here. We have exactly a half circle. That's the basic shape. Now we just need to add some dimensions. So I'm seeing radius of 0.3125. So dimension here, radius 0.3125. And, oops, looks like I actually need this. Oops. What's this line? Not sure what that is. All right. And then what else did we have? I think it was the actual little height there. So this is showing 0.0625. So dimension this 0.0625. Hit enter. All right, everything's black and constrained with the gray shading, so we're good. Hit the check mark. Now I'm going to extrude this. And again, I recommend doing a symmetric extrusion. That way it goes to both sides. I just need to know the dimension. 0.625. 0.625. Hit enter. And that's the basic shape. And lastly, I'm going to sketch on the top now. Again, normal to the plane. We'll use this center point rectangle. This is going to be the hole for the follower. Hit dimension. And these are going to be both the 0.255 to allow tolerance for it to sit in there nice and tight. 0.255. Okay, check mark. Extrude this down here. Extrude. And I'm going to remove that. The depth of that is, it says square hole 0.1875 deep. I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit deeper just so that it sits in there better. We'll call that 0.2. Hit enter. We got the hole set up. We are good. So that's your basic roller. But as I mentioned, we're going to try to add some little walls to track it for the cams a little better. So the way I'm going to do this is sketch on this face. Go normal to it and look at this straight on. And my approach is going to be an offset. So I hit the offset tool and click on this shape. And you can see mine, I'm right away getting that exterior face. If you wanted to, you may notice when you first get it, it might be going this way. So just hit the arrow to flip it to the outside. Okay, lastly, I need to get this dimension, somewhat arbitrary depending on how thick you want those walls to be. But I personally, the first time when I ran this, I did this at 0.197. I think that's based on the thickness of the cams. That's what I used there. So 0.197, hit enter. Notice right now, This doesn't have a shaded in. It's all black, but it's not shaded in. So I need to add a line to close this off to make it a closed shape. And now we got that gray shaded background. Check. And we're going to extrude this, make this an add, so it adds to the part. Right now it's going the wrong direction. So that's why we hit this opposite direction. And then the depth is that same 0.197 that I used earlier. And this is really just to allow the right amount of thickness in between for the cam to sit inside. All right, so hit the check. And way we could do this is either redraw that, or since the exact same shape, I'm going to mirror. The way I like to do this is a feature mirror. So feature allows me to choose a feature out of this list. I'm going to choose that extrude that we just used. The mirror plane is going to be the middle plane that cuts it through here. So it's the front plane for our case here. And right now, the last thing I need to do is click reapply features, hit the check. All right, and the final thing to kind of add a little bit of detail is just a nice little fillet around the edge. So we're going to do that right here. And the fillet's going to catch these two outer edges. Okay, and the radius will do that same kind of 0.197, I think that's what we use. Oh, no, that's not right. Hold on, I think what was there was good, 0.03. Let me double check what I did before. Not that important, 0.039, so let's stick with that same one, just for consistency. Check, and there's your roller, ready to go.